It's been 2 years since I first stood on a surfboard and got bitten by the surf bug. I've documented my progress so far, from the complete beginning to the decision to start surfing in cold waters of Iceland where I live. It has been a long and slow journey, and this video is a story of progression and growth, not just as a surfer, but as a person. It's a story of becoming better. Last year ended with surfing in November, when the snow fell and melted again. The water temperature went down to 5 degrees Celsius and I enjoyed surfing smaller waves. Filled with hope, I was leaving Iceland for upcoming months and planned on surfing in warmer places. I usually travel in winter months to get away from the cold and dark, so when we set on yet another trip, we knew where we want to end up. With the help of buses and trains and cars, we traveled from Croatia to Italy, then France and through Spain until we got south enough to get on a ferry that would take us to Tangier, Morocco. Because I knew I will spend several weeks, maybe months, without surfing in the beginning, I decided to exercise every day. I focused on my core and upper body strength since I remembered how your shoulders burn from paddling if you don't have the strength to paddle out. When we finally got to Essaouira, the first stop where it would be possible for us to surf, I was so ready to get back in the water. I didn't want to wait any longer. I was also convinced that surfing without a 6mm wetsuit and gloves and boots would dramatically improve my flexibility and movement on the board. After surfing on 6'6" foam board for months, I went for 7'2" twin fin hard board, which might not seem like a big difference for a non-surfer, but trust me when I say it is a big difference. The shape of the board, the length, the fins, they all demand different skill that I don't have. Yeah, my sense of over-exaggerating my skill is ever present, as you can see. But I was immediately reminded that this sport is not forgiving.
I didn't commit. Back to square one, huh? Fucking suck, dude. Seriously.
I was so disappointed. I really thought that all the transformation I went through over past months in Iceland would help me become a better surfer.
So, first day surfing in Morocco. Not very good, not gonna lie. So yeah, I'm gonna hope that at some point it will get better. There is a long journey ahead of me once again.
And even though I felt stronger and exercised, it didn't matter after all. My shoulders were hurting, I couldn't paddle out, I was in the wrong spot, everything was happening all over again. But this was a beach break, and as I learned in Iceland, those can be tricky. We were heading to Insuan, very popular point break in Morocco, and I kept hearing from other surfers how point breaks are easier than beach breaks. When we finally got there, it was beautiful. But I was shocked at the amount of people surfing. I forgot how it is at popular places like this one. I got used to empty beaches of Iceland with nobody around, except for you and maybe a few other surfers or friends. It felt stressful to get in the sea with so many people around, especially now when I didn't feel as confident. I rented a board anyway and went to try it out. Well, at least I stood up on the board this time, but I can't really say I surfed. After this, I stopped bringing the GoPro, because no boards had mounts for it and there wasn't much to record anyway. I did go several times every day, because I wanted to get back to the level where I was as fast as possible.
So I'm coming home from 4th session in 2 days.
But I guess the change of climate from cold and rainy Chefchaouen to hot and windy coast, plus the physical toll of surfing, had its effects that I should have seen coming.
I'm kinda sick right now, so I'm worried I'm gonna get like pneumonia or something. I'm coughing like crazy.
I probably did, because I had to get on antibiotics and couldn't get in the ocean for the rest of the trip in Morocco. My frustration was slowly growing, but I didn't lose hope since I knew we'll spend a whole month in Canary Islands, the next destination with possible surf. We stayed in a house from a family friend and I started looking for places to rent a board. Almost immediately my enthusiasm dropped. The boards were expensive, you still needed a wetsuit, and our location was in the south of Fuerteventura. Great for windsurfing and all wind related sports, not so great for normal surfing. We did go check out Cotillo in the north of the island, where I rented the overpriced gear from some German company just to find out that the wetsuit didn't zip up, but I didn't care. I went in my t-shirt and decided I'll keep warm by moving around. Maybe if I had a chance to stay there, I would have surfed all the time, and there was a surf beach in the south, but it didn't look that inviting. My thoughts at that time were, if I still need a wetsuit and the waves on the closest beach look the same like what I have in Iceland, I could have just stayed home. And then the most daunting thought entered my mind. I don't think I can get to my desired skill level with the amount of surfing I get. Ask anyone and they will tell you that number 1, you need to surf as much as possible, and number 2, you need to keep surfing. Otherwise your skill level is just going down. This trip specifically was a big hope for me to surf as much as possible before I return to Iceland, where the conditions are so unpredictable and random that I can't get enough sessions in. So I realized the harsh truth that I'll probably always keep returning to the same point of this journey. Beginner trying to catch some waves, getting smacked in the face and barely standing on the board. It was a tough pill to swallow, and so I did what anyone else would do in my shoes. I gave up.
I watch as my world's going up in flames. Through the black smoke I can see your face. Embers they rain as the walls come down.
It wasn't until I came back to Iceland and found all my gear in a bag waiting for me in the shed. My 6'4" wetsuit, boots and gloves, my 2 shitty foam boards. I remembered all the time and energy I spent on trying to surf in Iceland, and I thought I should give it a one more try. I have all this stuff laying around after all.
Watch me on my knees, my heart it bleeds while you pour gasoline all over me. Set me on fire 'cause you love the.
This is where everything clicked again. This was my board, my gear, the beach and waves I know and studied a lot. It felt like home. I didn't immediately start ripping and getting barreled, that's just not how this works, but it gave me a warm feeling despite the ice cold water and set me back on track. But first things first, I had to reapply the wax since the first time I did it, well, it wasn't the most gracious thing a surfboard has seen. Next, I had to focus on several things. A lot of people told me that I shouldn't hold the rails of the board, since you lose stability that way. Instead, I had to focus on putting my hands flat on the board. I also wanted to improve my patience with waves, which directly correlates with wave reading.
Wave selection. That will be today's lesson.
Not taking every wave is crucial to maintaining energy throughout the session. Too many times I burned myself out by trying too hard, taking every wave going my direction. And last thing, focus on catching green waves followed by a turn, so I ride the wall of the wave and not just going straight to the beach. Just a quick side note, if you like what I do here and you want to support this channel, you can become a member and get perks like access to my new videos early or exclusive updates. You can also check out my new prints collection. Right now I have a set of Northern Lights photos. I handpicked some of my favorites and you can get them in different sizes and on different paper types. So yeah, check it out. Thank you, and back to the video. In the beginning, I didn't record every session, since I felt like it's adding the pressure of capturing the perfect moment for a video. After all, this is not about a video, it's about getting better. Sure, I want you guys to see everything, but I also want to just enjoy the moments of solitude out in the ocean. But the fear of missing out on capturing the perfect end to this video was sometimes too strong, and instead of focusing on the ocean and the waves, I would find myself checking the camera, if it's rolling, if I have enough battery, how long can it last, and it wasn't ideal. But when my friend told me he found a new spot, I didn't hesitate for a second to bring the GoPro.
We are going to check out a different beach. Finally surfing a different spot in Iceland. What?
This spot needs a very specific swell that doesn't come often to generate waves, and we didn't really know what to expect. So when we arrived, we were in for a surprise.
Do you see that one? That was huge.
That's crazy. What the fuck? That's insane. That's overhead. Yo, battle man. What the fuck? Oh no. Yo. That's insane.
Ocean here got deep real fast, so we pedaled out cautiously.
It doesn't get that deep.
Soon I found out the rocks are kind of padded with seaweed, which I wasn't sure if that made me calmer or more nervous, but I was slowly gaining more confidence and got closer and closer to the peak of the wave.
I think we have to get closer to the peak. I'm on the shoulder somewhere.
I had few attempts a bit further out, but of course that didn't work. I needed to get in the right spot. And once I did, I felt the power of the wave that almost kicked me off the board. And then, after patiently waiting for the right wave that traveled hundreds, thousands of kilometers just to get to this exact spot in this exact time, I was ready for it. This turned out to be the only proper wave I caught that day, but sometimes one wave is all it takes, because it didn't take long for me to have the best session of my life.
Through the hard times and the good, I have to celebrate you, baby. I have to praise you like I should.
Yes, I still need to learn how to turn back and keep going on the wave, but hey, for me this was massive. After this, I kept checking the forecast. October was around the corner, which last year brought the best waves, so I was expecting the same.
Wow, crazy good. Super excited, super pumped. Can't wait for more.
But the days were passing by faster than I wanted. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. I was checking the forecast obsessively, went to surf on any good day, but the right swell just wasn't coming, and the periods between sessions were getting longer and longer.
Yeah, this is not happening.
I accepted the fact that maybe I won't see that sort of waves for a while, which is just how it is in Iceland, especially at the spot I surf. I really wanted a grand finale for this video, you know? I wanted to surf just one wave in the same conditions I failed at last year. I wanted to prove myself.
You know, honestly, I've been saying every single time I go there, I'm thinking like, oh, now today is the day, you know, it's gonna happen again. And it didn't yet.
It took me a long time of waiting and thinking when I realized I caught myself in a rat race. I will never see the same waves here. Of course I'm not. But you see, that's the beauty of it all. That's what makes this obsession the most beautiful thing out there. Each time you go surf, you will have a different experience. The waves come in different shapes and sizes and strengths and lengths, and you have to adapt to it. That's why it's so difficult to learn and even more difficult to master. The fact I'm doing it in Iceland gives this learning curve an extra depth, separating me from my goal even further. I chased an elusive thought of imaginary waves while forgetting I already caught waves and turned and surfed. I had the best day of the year, and looking back, that's what matters to me. If I get one great day a year in a cold ass water, surrounded by mountains, basically alone, hanging out with Fred the seal, who's been laughing at me the whole time, I think I'm good. I'll definitely take it over a crowded beach any day.
For today. Oh, but I'm proud of you, but I'm proud of you. Nothing left to make me feel small. Luck has left me standing so tall. Gold, always believe in your soul. You've got the power to know you're indestructible. Always believe it, 'cause you are gold. Like that you're bound to return. There's something I could have learned. You're indestructible. Always believe it.
Thank you for watching another episode of my surfing journey. If you haven't seen the first 2 episodes, you can check them out here. The next one, I don't even know when it's gonna happen. These videos take me anywhere from 6 months to a year, and it's very possible it will take even longer in the future. But hey, if you like my stuff, why don't you subscribe? I would appreciate it. Thank you, and I will see you next time. But until then, ciao.